Is the guest here yet?
Almost 20 minutes out.
Okay, that's perfect. We have time because I've been thinking about set redesign for next year.
Ooh.
We need to use Nano Banana and Gemini to help us visualize what we're thinking.
Smart. Give me the phone. So now, what are we thinking? What's the vibe?
Since our next guest is such a 90s baby, I feel like we should play around with that theme, like 90s sitcom.
Okay, that would be cute. I like that. Okay, this is cute. It's like really colorful.
Ooh, have fun.
It is fun. And I do feel like you give more Victorian era. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I want to try that one out. Okay, wait, Aria. This is cute. Very regal.
Yes.
Very royal.
And you know I love all of that. But this is our entire art budget. It is.
Okay, let's keep brainstorming.
Okay.
I mean, you play the straight, non-reactive man that you say is kind of inspired by like the Coen brothers films. They said it sands down his personality for television.
You think so?
I don't know you,
but that's my thing is like they don't neither. So
yeah,
it's like,
that's true. That's true.
I'm much calmer than people perceive me.
Okay.
So
okay.
But I get it.
What does the Vince Staples Show mean exactly, and are we supposed to get it? Vince Staples, a 32-year-old rapper who hails from Long Beach, California, has spent the last 14 years releasing a solid collection of music, 6 studio albums that detail love, loss, trauma, classism, racism with a vivid specificity. He's also produced lots of internet fodder for his tweets and interviews where he expounds on certain topics in a very direct but humorous way, whether he's extolled the contributions of Ray J or admonished R. Kelly.
I'm a good person. R. Kelly a piece of fucking shit.
Some could say he goes against the grain. Others could say he's just more comfortable with discomfort. Staples likes to face the hard truth most people run away from. This is at the core of the Vince Staples Show, which debuted on Netflix in February 2024 and was renewed for a second season, which is a huge feat in this climate, when networks and streaming platforms are taking less risk on new shows or formats and doubling down on already performing franchises with massive reaches like Stranger Things, for example. Staples never planned on writing a series, let alone starring in or executive producing one, but based on feedback from fans and his propensity for layered visual storytelling, he pursued the path of pitching his own scripted show to various platforms around 10 years ago. No one bid at first, but after taking on roles in projects like Dope and Abbott Elementary and releasing his own mini-series on YouTube, eventually Netflix said yes. The Vince Staples Show feels familiar, but it isn't. Staples and team created a chaotic world that centers his perspective as a semi-well-known rapper who finds himself in precarious situations. It eschews traditional comedy formats. Vince avoids writing jokes or leaning on slapstick, and it references a mix of shows, including The Simpsons, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Roy Anderson's cinematography, and the dark tone of the Coen brothers. Staples is clearly invested in providing the audience with something different from what executives assume they want. Today, we are going to discuss Season 2 of The Vince Staples Show, which debuted on November 6th. We are going to explore how he wanted to break the traditional comedy format, the key differences between Season 1 and 2, recurring themes in Season 2 and what they mean. We'll dig into what's up with the O.J. Simpson reference, his future as an independent music artist, and how Vince Staples, the real person, deals with anxiety. My name is Aria Hughes, I am the editor-in-chief of Complex, and I am asking Vince Staples to please explain. Hi Vince, welcome.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, I appreciate it. I'm excited about this conversation. Well, congrats on a Season 2. I know that's like a big feat.
Yes, it's unlikely for a lot of shows, especially in the streaming era.
Yes.
So coming off strike and stuff like that, we're happy to be able to do it again.
For sure. It felt like y'all learned about the Season 2 pretty early, though, in...
Process?
Yes, of Season 1. Like, I feel like Season 1 came out, and then you just learned about Season 2 getting, like...
Oh, nah, it took like 8 months.
Oh, really?
It was a minute. It was, because I think a lot of people were kind of figuring stuff out after the strike. So we went into pre-production right when the strike happened, so it took a minute for stuff to catch up, and then the show was kind of slow burner, so when we kind of got the right audience, they circled back.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, like... What are the specific things that are needed for a show to be renewed for a second season on Netflix?
I think, I mean, it really depends per like networks. I would say they all have things that they look for. Like certain networks look for retention, completion rate. Certain networks might look for like fan engagement online, awards, things of that nature. Netflix is kind of like a combination of a lot of the things, but it's kind of like a perfect storm. You never really know.
Okay. But why do you think your show got renewed?
I know exactly why.
Why?
Connectivity with the black audience.
Okay.
I think it's an untapped market for a lot of newer shows, especially like skewing younger demographics, especially on their network. So I think we kind of filled that void a little bit.
Okay. And then you said it was a slow burn. So it's like, immediately people weren't watching it, but the numbers just continue to build?
Well, I think they were watching it. It's just everybody got to make it make sense as far as like bringing something back that isn't, a lot of stuff now is big IP or reality and things of that nature. So for something that's kind of not the most traditional, they had to make it make sense.
Right.
But we had a good team of people that were like passionate about the project. It's just about, everybody got their person they got to kind of go over to. So I think we were able to give our producing partners at the network what they needed to go say what they need one another season. So,
Got it. Yeah, I was going to ask, because it does seem like there's just there's politics involved in everything. But I was curious how, like, the Hollywood politics differ from music politics.
I mean, music is one of those things that if I go sit by myself and, record a bunch of songs, I can still have an album, but you're not making a show by yourself. So just more moving parts, more money, just more at risk when it comes to the things you can and can't get away with.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more structured, but creatively you can kind of pull from the same place.
So clearly they've deemed it successful because you have a second season. But I'm just curious, like, did that mean more budget? Did that mean, like, less notes? Did that mean they trusted you more and they understood, like, the conceit of the show?
I think for sure more trust, for sure not more money. Just because the state of the business, like everything is kind of more IP driven and stuff like that. So we didn't really expect much more, we ain't trying to get what these other places got. But for sure more trust, less, I still get notes, but at that point they knew I wasn't really fucking with no notes like that. So it was a good arrangement that we have with our producing partners, and they have a lot of trust in the things that I want to create. They get nervous, like they not gonna pretend they don't, but it's a good conversation.
So you don't have to consider notes?
Well, no, I do, but they know what I'm gonna say yes to and what I'm gonna say no to.
Got it.
I give a lot of stuff, like if it's small, it don't matter, but big stuff, like the stuff that actually do need a note, nah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. And then, did you read like the reviews and critiques of season 1?
Oh no, I don't look at none of that stuff. I mean, it's more so me not wanting to read too much of the positivity because I'm critical about stuff. So I see what's wrong with everything that we kind of create and try to improve it. So I don't want to feel like there's not work to do.
Okay.
So I just kind of look at it from a critical standpoint of what I've created and what I wanted to create. And
yeah.
Whether people like it or not, you still got to push to do better.
What were you critical of season 1?
A lot of production stuff. Like, we didn't have that much time to shoot per episode. Like, we doubled our length of days. We had, like, I think 3 days per episode first season. So we got more being able to complete our production days. Things that kind of were more on the technical side of it. And leaning in on some of the notes that I got, first season that they weren't sure about. And, you strip some things back and those kind of things work. So just tone of writing, tone of kind of performance. And I was able to double down on those things and make it happen in the second season.
I've read the reviews and the critiques, and I'm just curious your response. And a lot of it had nothing to do with production, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm curious just how you feel about it. But one, it's not funny, but you don't really care if it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, comedy is just like a genre thing that they put it in. Humors, that's also how people perceive things, because from a standpoint of like black comedy, it's usually like slapstick or more physical and things of that nature. But a lot of Coen brother films are comedies and they don't have that specific tone. But I just don't think that people are used to black people creating a certain kind of art for their consumption, because of course there are a lot of people that do it. It's just getting the opportunity to put it out there. So that's a fair no based on what would be perceived to be happening.
Okay. Another one was, you play the straight, non-reactive man that you say is kind of inspired by like the Coen brothers films. And they said it sands down his personality for television.
You think so?
I don't know you, but
But that's my thing is like they don't neither. So
yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I'm much calmer than people perceive me. to be,
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I get it. Music is like, I'm 32, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start putting out music when you're 17.
Mm-hmm.
People think that you're the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really be mad at them. Everybody dictates life and growth differently.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really hold that against people because it's like, oh, man, he told this Ray J joke 12 years ago.
Yes.
He was much more animated.
Yes.
Like, that wasn't 2000. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah. I feel like they're looking at your viral moments and they're like, we expect that on the show.
Yeah. And the way that clips kind of resurface online, like, and people just don't really use context. Like, all that stuff was a long time ago. So I'm too old to be, doing all that.
How do you feel about seeing that stuff now?
I just stay off the internet for the most part. Like, the social media thing, it's like,
You tweet.
it's part of the job. Well, that's because it's part of the job. You gotta
Okay,
fan engagement. You still
Yeah.
everything, but as far as just like scrolling and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I just don't be on it much. Not that like I'm putting it down or nothing like that. It's just there's no reason to be looking at all that stuff. It's not healthy.
But do you still, like, with the Ray J thing,
Mm-hmm.
you gave, like, I thought it was a very eloquent detailing of why Ray J is important.
Ray J is probably top 5 hip hop West Coast of all time.
Why? Why do you feel this way, Vince?
Does Ray J not have hits?
He has a couple hits.
Ray J was the first blood on the record that was certified. You seen the K Slay interview?
No, what did he say?
So
in that?
without Ray J, there is no game.
When you think about that, do you still feel the same way?
I wish I never did a lot of that stuff.
Oh, you were lying the whole time?
Nah, it's not even that. Cause he cool dude. I'm just saying it's like I done put out 58 songs about like the traumatic black experience.
Yes.
It's like look what this nigga said about Ray J.
Yes,
It's like,
yes.
It's a crazy thing, but I get it. It's just that understanding the internet differently.
Yes.
You have to be very mindful because people will choose
Yes.
what you stand for you.
That's a good point.
I've seen more pages than people post. I've seen people that have never posted one
Yes.
thing about the show, one concert flyer,
Yes.
one thing about music, post Ray J clips or other kind of clips. So it's like you just got to be mindful of those things.
Yes, that's a great point. Another one says, but I do think this is the point of the show, but it says it normalizes trauma. Yeah, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, people, I get it, man. But it's like, I think we live in like a critic culture where
Yes.
and it's not the negative thing, but the point of those platforms are for people to give their opinion. They give their opinion on certain things, but everybody doesn't have the same opinion and the same ability to give the opinion or the right, so to say. So you can't be that mad about other shit.
Yes. I always feel like you've handled criticism very well.
Yeah, because I don't take it serious.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Well,
it's harmless.
Is there anything anybody could say that would bother you?
Not if I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, not if I don't know. Because it's like, I don't take it serious. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and a lot of things are said in good fun, like, the troll culture type thing. Like, they know ain't nobody really trying to hurt your feelings. They just doing their thing.
Right. They're trying to get clicks and engagement, etc.
That's how they entertain themselves. So
Yes.
it's part of the game. You sign up for it. We get paid to do this, so it's cool.
That's a good outlook. I don't know if I feel the same way, but that's a good outlook.
But you got to look at it like that. If you see him in real life, you're going to smack him. So you just got to know everybody's smackable. And then when you walk around with that, like, firm, open hand, knowing that, they're not going to talk to you like that in person, you good, man.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay. So I really enjoyed season 2. There was obviously some marked differences, which I think we're going to talk about, obviously. No more romantic relationship.
Well, no, that's not necessarily a thing about, like, the thing, because we got that thing a couple times.
Okay.
It's an anthology, right?
Yep.
And in a sense, we create a larger world where it's a slice of life in every episode. So we had someone say that, oh, Vanessa's more so involved in this season than last season. But that's not necessarily how the episodes are set up. They're set up as far as these days. So you might not see the same person every day. All the bank robbers are still present. The homie is still present. Data's still present. But at this moment, we wanted to focus on the family.
Yes.
And Uncle James' death. So it just didn't quite need those parts. But they're not going. I don't want people to feel like, what's happening with the white boy thing and blah, blah. Like, we're going to go through all
Revisit
those
those.
things.
Okay.
We just haven't got to those days yet in the season.
Got it.
Especially with
Okay.
6 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yes. You talked about it being an anthology, but it does feel like season 2 had more of like a narrative thread through
Well,
each
just
episode.
slower, right? So that comes with the trust thing that we're speaking about. And the first 3 episodes are one day.
Yeah.
So we still have that slice of life, day in the life approach to it. But we just had time to pace our episodes differently than we did the first season, which ties like those notes and that trust and stuff like that. So in those last 6 episodes, we have, I think, 72 hours. So we kind of just made the format a little bit more for bingeability, as they like to say in the network meetings.
So yeah, is that why? Because I remember when you were doing press for the first season, you were saying how like it's 5 episodes, but I think that's good because it allows people to kind of want more. Also, you said that there was 6 episodes, but y'all lost one.
Six is, that's just the network order. Like, I think that everyone's moving to shorter seasons, 6 episodes, 8 episodes. It wasn't like a choice that we made, but within the scope of how people watch things currently and how we want them to kind of complete it in one narrative for one sitting, for most of like the narratives that are being done now. I think that 6 and 8 is kind of a good sweet spot rather than longer seasons or shorter seasons.
Okay, so what your ideal is 8?
I don't really have an ideal because I've never made something outside of this format, but I think that longer is always better because it just gives more opportunities to work and kind of tell more parts of the story. But yeah, it's 6 is cool. 6, 8. I think it also falls in a timestamp because you can get 6 episodes of an hour show, and that's 12 essentially if you kind of think about it in a half-hour comedy standpoint. So it depends.
It does seem like this season is about you outside of Long Beach.
Yeah, well, I think we had an opportunity to do something creative with a shifting of location, because it gave us the opportunity to have more shoot days.
Yeah.
And we were kind of running and gunning the first season, which caused us to kind of have a lot of production woes, drop pages and stuff like that. So we just found a creative way to get out of it. To be honest, for me, the location was never an important part of the show. I have, my vision, and then everyone has their input on what will make the show successful. So we have to try to figure out how to balance those things and come to a common ground. But after certain elements of the first season, for example, our most successful episode being an interior episode of a bank. I know that's not the homie. It doesn't necessarily matter where that is, and that kind of was able to liven up the world, limit the locations, and it gave us the ability to know that we would be able to do this move and get more production value and still have a good season.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that you would say the location wasn't important to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's all perception. I think a lot of the perception stems from music. Hip-hop is it's about me and my home, and it's real, and I think we've kind of removed the element of creativity or imagination from hip-hop music, and coming from a hip-hop space, everything has to be those things: authentic, real, based around home, just based on the fans' perception. But that's not necessarily what I was trying to do when I was trying to make a show.
Okay, interesting. I know you talked a lot about breaking format, but still having to work within a structure or format. What did you originally think the show would be, and how did you have to kind of fit it within this format for TV? I know that you said that Kenya had gave you advice about that, as well as Quinta. What were you? Yeah,
I mean, when you get into network space, there's so many different things that play a part, whether it's the success of a show that they've recently had or what's hot in the marketplace and things of that nature. And then also traditional storytelling and kind of screenwriting is different than other forms of writing, and I had never done that before. So everyone has their trick that they specifically do for their Quinta doing multicams or breaking the fourth wall, things that we've seen before in like The Office, and Kenny using chirons and narration and kind of a little bit of animation in the sense of like creating maps and diagrams, things of that nature kind of helps with the exposition. I personally didn't like the idea of exposition for the show, so I'm just trying to find a way around that. Originally, like the show, it still is just following Vince, but it was just basically about utilizing the main character as a lens and having him watch these other people. But a lot of the team felt like a sitcom format would be more digestible for an audience, and that's not really my thing, not really digestion. So we had to find a way to kind of meet in the middle. We found some success with doing more of an animation format. If it's Vince versus the world, so to say, and the issue is with the limited shoot schedule and limited resources, the world begins to be small. And what I wanted to do was grow out the world. It was very important to me that since we've established so many of these characters in season 1 what new characters could we establish in season 2 and season 3, and eventually just create this entire world, comic book format, animation formats. Just a show like The Simpsons has dozens of characters that they focus on from time to time, and that's something that I really drew a lot of inspiration from. So when I think about, say, bringing back some of the family, they're not super integral to the story, but it's important as a contrast, because in those first 2 episodes, this episode's about Vince's lone journey, kind of with being haunted by the ghost of his uncle. But if you don't see the contrast in how his mother and his sister grieve, who they didn't get that much time last season, but she's integral to the story as well, they give a good contrast in how Vince is grieving his uncle, and Nate doesn't really, the Brie character doesn't really necessarily acknowledge much of the uncle because they weren't that close to him, as was said in the first season. But Vince sees a lot of his self and the trauma that they've dealt with. The mother is grieving him in another way as well. So just giving kind of a backdrop to Vince's family and their grief allows us to go on this journey for the next 3 episodes and then return back to the family towards the end.
Yes.
So it's utilizing our characters as motifs rather than plot points is kind of something that was important for us.
I mean, obviously Vanessa Bell Calloway is an icon, and I really enjoyed her, but I love Nate. Like, I wasn't that familiar with her, but I thought she, played that role perfectly.
It was important to kind of get her in this season for that back and forth, because she unlocks a lot of the exposition for Vanessa's character, and that allows us to not have to just speak about it directly, and then we can get them in and out and get on our journey.
Yeah, there's a lot that's said but not said in the series. Rappers are no strangers to acting in film or TV. Y'all remember The Eve Show, which launched on UPN in 2003 and lasted for 3 seasons? Or maybe the short-lived Method and Red sitcom on Fox, which aired in 2004 but was canceled before the season was over due to creative differences. According to Method Man, he wanted the show to be more in the one-camera style of Arrested Development, but Fox insisted on adding a laugh track and tried too hard to appeal to middle America with lame jokes, he says. Appealing to the masses rather than serving a particular demographic has been a long-standing issue for Black storytellers in Hollywood, especially if the concepts are weird or not stereotypical. It's hard to say whether or not there would have been space for the Vince Staples show 10 years ago, or if the powers that be would have even trusted a rapper to write, star in, and executive produce a show. But the success of Donald Glover's Atlanta and Jordan Peele's Get Out, which both defied convention with their surrealist approach to storytelling and their refusal to dumb down the message, made way for other weird and Black stories, including Boots Riley's I'm a Virgo and Misha Green's Lovecraft Country, and now Staples Show. Despite this previous surge of Black TV series that don't fit within any box, right now, Staples Show is an anomaly in Hollywood, when many shows that involve minority identities are getting axed. And the industry is abandoning the DEI efforts that came post George Floyd's murder. And then the strike, which Vince mentioned earlier, changed everything, with many executives losing their jobs because Hollywood was constricting and studios had less money to invest in otherness. So the fact that Staples Show got a 2nd season is a huge accomplishment, and that's why it matters now. In the next segment, we will talk about if he wants a 3rd season, his writing process, if he's a conspiracy theorist, his favorite rappers turned actors, and other stories he'd like to tell in the future. Okay, I want to talk about process, and I know you're a process person. So the first episode, Country Maine, you wrote it by yourself. What is that process? Because these shows are very layered. There's lots of Easter eggs. It feels like there's lots of research that's put into it. I mean, can you walk us through Vince Staples writing the Country Maine episode?
I'm Vince Staples.
Okay.
Maurice from Abbott Elementary, Speedy White Man Can't Jump. Vince Staples from The Vince Staples Show, Netflix original.
No.
Miniseries.
I haven't seen, no.
You don't watch Netflix. You listen to music? Everybody likes music. I got a Billie Eilish. Is his name Aiko? You're at the Black Panther soundtrack? I'm on the Black Panther soundtrack.
Just Google him, baby.
I mean, we kind of go to our writing room and break some episodes. You kind of figure out production along the way, and the scripts morph based on what you're going to do. So that was something that the season kind of got reworked in the writing room once we figured out we had to do our move, which is fine. We kind of created something unique, but
Well, hold on. What do you mean you had to do your move?
Joe, just as far as our production,
Oh, okay.
we kind of had to, we had to make a lot of the backdrop make sense, a lot of the journey make sense. So as you're working on production, you're thinking in your head, how do you create something that maximizes whatever you're going to be doing, whether that's time of the year that you're shooting, whether that's weather. We kind of look into all those things. So when it comes to the writing process, we kind of figure out our journey for the season. I don't really outline my own episodes. I do outlines for the because if you're in the writing room, you get episodes. There are outlines prepared, and then get a couple writer's drafts, and then touch those up and kind of rework it in the way that you need to rework it. Yeah, we go to production, and then I do all the rewrites once we get to production.
Do you still have to be that quick with writing these scripts?
I mean, it's not that I have to. It's just easy.
Okay.
It's just, it don't have to rhyme, and then I think it kind of flows naturally. The hardest part of writing is kind of like getting the moments before writing, like of ideation, and I really don't try not to spend too much time on that. So when you kind of start writing, you don't have to stop. You know
So it's just whatever comes to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really sit on it that much. When you revisit it, I'll just like start over if I need to.
Well, you're very imaginative. just
I appreciate it.
Just for it to be like that.
Well, it's a lot of practice from just songs.
Yes.
Songs are so limiting that once
Yeah.
you're able to do anything, and
Right.
the format is a little bit more loose, so you can just, get into it.
I know for season 1 you named like some references like Roy Anderson, King of the Hill, Chappelle Show, Twilight Zone, the Coen Brothers, a lot of different things. Were you pulling from new inspirations or references for season 2?
No, pretty
Okay.
much the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's, I'm not one of those people that studies things too heavily, unfortunately. I'm trying to get more into that as time goes on, but I like the stuff I like whether it's good or not, you know what I mean? And I think interesting is more important than a lot of the other elements of creativity. You know, I'm not really striving for perfection, more so singularity. So being able to stick to the things that I enjoy digesting kind of gives me a point of view. But working with so many different people, it allows you to kind of round out your ideas, because someone might take something a different way than you do, and you have to allow that freedom for people to be expressive
Yeah.
during production, and then you kind of get something that has nuance.
What do you get out of creating and writing this show?
I think it was a good opportunity just to be able to try something new, to be honest. It's a very collaborative situation, so just having to talk to more people, share more of the responsibility while still like doing everything, for lack of better words, is very important, because you don't want to just leave things with people. You want to make sure that you're helping them in
Yeah.
whatever they have to do. That was a very cool part of the process, and it just makes writing anything a little bit easier, because you've broken format on different things, and you can kind of pull from one thing to the other. Speech cadence is important in writing, and that's easier to do from music, and exploration is easier in film, and then you can bring that to music. So it's just like one of those things that just helps sharpen your skills up creatively, communication wise, and and other things.
How do you deal with writers who aren't black and you're working with them to kind of understand your vision and execute on what you're trying to do?
I don't think that I even make it their issue.
Okay.
Anything that I need to do, I just do it myself.
Okay.
So it's like, structurally, if we're doing the outlines, and we have a great writer on our team that's not black, and I try to make sure that I give more nuanced characters for certain episodes, for certain people. But like anything that's like supposed to feel uncomfortable, I'll make sure that they have a decent pass at, because you have to have the nuance of these characters. Like if you have a writer that's not necessarily black writing a character and their experiences with someone that's black, and they're trying to find the way to balance it out, then that's what they're currently doing as they're writing the script. So it is valuable in certain regards, but as someone at the helm of something, it's your job to kind of come back and round it out and fill in the cultural gaps that might be there, because everybody doesn't have the same life, you know what I mean, even within the black community. So it's just something that you have to take charge of.
Do you care about white audiences?
In what regard?
Understanding the show, watching the show, do you feel like, well, you just said that Netflix really likes the show because it speaks to a younger black audience that I guess they're trying to, but I know a part of your creation is also contextualizing the black experience. So how much do you care about white people understanding it or watching it?
I mean, I don't really think I care about anybody understanding it,
Okay.
to be honest, because it's from a standpoint of, if they would have said that, the show would have probably over-indexed for the younger black demographic. I don't think that they would have agreed, because I don't think people perceive the younger black demographic to be into the things that I created, but we're nuanced people. So I think you take the opportunity to create something that's true. Like, I'm not going and trying to write something specifically about the Black experience, specifically about trauma, specifically about, our plight, but me being a Black person in America, it's just a natural thing. I've never dealt with anything else. So I think if you're kind of true to yourself and your point of view, those things will come across naturally if you care about them, and that's kind of where I am with it. And that's what I mean about prioritizing the process, is that if I make things from a genuine place, it'll come off how it comes off, but it's your job as an artist to kind of operate through that purity.
Obviously, you want a season 3.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
You're funny.
I appreciate, I don't expect anything when it comes to this thing, but I feel like whether we get a season 3 or not, I did enough for me to learn from the experience and kind of move forward. But a season 3 would be cool.
Even in the construction of the season 2 and how it ended, are you purposely strategizing or doing anything for the possibility of a season 3?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of stuff floating around in there. So the ideas isn't the problem. It's just like picking one.
Okay.
But I got a lot of stuff I can figure out.
Are you interested in acting beyond this space? Are you interested in larger roles? Have you been doing anything to kind of think about that and work on that?
I mean, not really. It's not like front of mind. If I didn't have to be in my show, I wouldn't be in it. I'd prefer the writing and production elements of it. But I'm not opposed to doing anything. I think, like I said, it's all an opportunity to kind of push yourself creatively. So getting some roles and some things could be cool, but I never got a role in my life. Like, audition-wise, I've never got an audition ever. Everything I've ever done was like, do you want to do it?
Okay.
And I'm not the strongest in that department anyway, so like working towards that in other capacities and other environments could be cool.
So let's talk about some themes that are reoccurring in season 2. Something that you talk about a lot is kind of just the state of the music industry, particularly for Black and brown artists. And I know that comes up explicitly in the first episode, Country Maine, and he kind of details, the predatory nature of the music business. But what do you think about the recent Billboard news that hip-hop has dropped out of the top 40 for the first time since the 90s?
No, I don't think it means anything. I think people buy things.
Yeah.
And the things that people buy changes. It doesn't dictate, art. Or we got to stop comparing creativity and commerce. They're not the same thing. So with the 17% Black population in the United States of America, I don't ever expect us to be at the top of the Billboard charts if we're truly making music from a pure place for ourselves. So anything other than that is, a plus, and you appreciate it, but that doesn't mean that it's not translating within our community, because it's not that many of us here.
And why is it important for you to speak about the predatory nature of the music business?
To be honest, I don't really even like talking about it. I think that it's just the truth.
Okay.
And whenever music comes up, like, that's a part of music.
Yes.
I just don't kind of ignore the ugly sides of things, even myself. Like, I try to pay attention to every part of the equation and kind of get better at all these things. But music has always been music, and I think that you can appreciate something and get a lot from something while knowing, its flaws. And I think that's just one of the things. But I'm not really an outspoken person. I don't feel like I just want to speak on an issue. I don't say anything unless somebody asks me.
Okay.
So, whenever I'm asked a question, I'll tell the truth. But you ain't never see me jump out and just start talking about something.
Yeah, I guess you're just very chat, like on the Joe Budden podcast.
They call me.
but you definitely say how you feel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie about nothing. But yeah, they call me. But as far as just saying it on my own, that never happened.
Okay, got it. And then you also, speaking of the Joe Budden podcast, because they called you to get your opinion on this, and you think rap beefs are corny. You said that. You said that before the Drake and Kendrick beef. That you basically said that there should be more emphasis on trying to create a better industry than warring back and forth, correct?
Y'all got real happy when niggas start rap beefing.
No.
But then y'all got real sad when niggas lose their publishing and niggas go to jail and niggas die and all the other stuff. It's like, we either with the coonin or we not, bro.
Now that the dust is settled on everything, do you still feel the same way?
I'm always feel the same way about Black people fighting over nothing.
Okay.
But everybody love a mudslinging contest, so I stay out of it. Entertainment is entertainment. So if everybody's entertained, it's all good.
Okay. So another theme that comes up a lot are just kind of Black excellence. And a few Black icons come up throughout the season. All right. O.J. Simpson. clearly hints of him came up in the first season as your uncle. And then he has the name James Brown, which I presume is like Jim Brown, the football player. What's the fascination with O.J. Simpson's story, and why was it a thread that you wanted to use in season 1? And clearly it's like the crux of season 2, his death.
I think that it's an interesting story, and it's like it's something that's very relevant to the trajectory of kind of black people in this country. But more than that, it's really commentary on fame and how we view people from these lenses, and it's more so connection to events based on some of the events of last season. Survivor's guilt, survivor's remorse, the way that your mistakes can follow you throughout your life, and I think it was a good way to kind of use a mirror for Vince's emotional state and bring us along the story without using too much exposition.
One thing that comes up on the show is he says, you know, you're doing this show, obviously your profile is raising, and he's like, you know, be careful, look after yourself, and, you know, eventually they're going to turn on you. Is that something that you think about or have a fear of?
No, I don't worry about those kinds of things, but in Vince's heightened state of what he was experiencing, trying to balance different types of life, a lot of those times that can give us paranoia, like as people are just questioning our own existence, questioning the people around you, and I think I use Uncle James to kind of as a mirror to kind of show how Vince was feeling. It's more of a subconscious thing, but me personally, like I'm lucky enough to kind of have sustained the same people in my life for a very long time, and I'm very, very lucky in that regard. You know, I got a good family, got good people around me, so I don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, but outside of family, there's just like public perception and the internet, which I guess you don't pay attention to.
Turn it off.
But does it have an impact though? Because
Not in real life. I'm not famous like that. If I walk down the street, a few people might say hello to me. I don't fall into that thing that we make ourselves believe. Like, we all human, and most of the time if you treat people human, they'll treat you human back. And if it's not that, then it's not that, and you deal with it later. But I've dealt with that before. But I haven't had to deal with that lately, just, you know, so I think that it's just not a thing like that for me. Maybe for other people, but, you know, there are people that have these huge profiles that can't even go outside, you know, and they have to constantly worry about those things, but that's not where I'm at.
I mean, well, do you feel like if you're black, particularly a black man who is famous, do you think that the trajectory typically is that people will try to take you down?
No.
Okay.
It don't happen.
How do you say it don't happen? What do you mean it doesn't happen?
I think we pick and choose what we want to pay attention to when it comes to certain things.
Okay.
What we do is a lot of times we equate hip-hop culture to a street lifestyle.
Yes.
And it's not that many, you know, black men that aren't coming from a street lifestyle that have to deal with these things. Dealing with the street is not dealing with success. And we can't act like because there are successful people that come from the street that these two are not, you know, connected in certain ways. There are a lot of dudes. I know a lot of successful people that haven't lived a certain kind of lifestyle. They don't have to deal with the kind of stuff I have to deal with, and these other people do. But the truth of the matter is it's an accountability to the situation. So if you come from this background, you will have issues that other people don't have, and that's okay. And it's okay to say, because it may be people straight from the lifestyle rather than, you know, the way that we kind of paint it right now. But I've never had an issue that had to do with me trying to be successful. If you're talking about racism.
No, I'm not even talking about street codes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like Puffy, Bill Cosby, O.J. Simpson. That's what I'm talking about.
O.J. Simpson, those ain't the same thing.
I know, but okay, go ahead. Explain.
We know people's backgrounds, man. Bill Cosby was freaked out.
Well, yes, I know.
He was doing freaky shit.
I know, yes.
Puffy, them dudes have a street background.
Yes.
We can't pretend. We just pretend they don't because they have made a lot of bread. But what I'm saying is that's not the same as what we talking about. Those are wrongdoings, and, you know, go to jail, do your time, and get out and fix your thing. Like, where I come from is you do something, you go down, do your time, and stand on it. But ain't nobody out to get you because you did the wrong thing.
Right.
I do the wrong thing often, and I actively try to make sure that I'm not doing that or perpetuating that. So I think that it's important to say that if you try your hardest to live a good quality of life and you treat people right and do your best, because nobody's perfect, then hopefully it'll come back to you. And that's just what I try to live by. Like, I still live in my community that I grew up in, and I still see the same people I was around. And so you gotta show love to everybody. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it ain't, but nobody told me to decide to do the wrong thing. I spent a lot of time and effort trying to revert kind of that way of thinking. So I got just a different standpoint on it. Like, you make the bed you lay in. Yeah, I'm not giving nobody no passes for none of that.
Got it. Okay. And then black excellence was something that came up a lot. Is black excellence a trap?
I think it's, directly tied to capitalism and commerce, and I think that those are things that are set up for people that don't necessarily look like us. That's how kind of the 1% operates, and it's for sure something that I don't deem to be the most beneficial for us as a people, but it's also quite interesting, just the dynamic of it. It's not me I don't point the finger at anyone. I just kind of try to set a backdrop and give my perspective on how certain things are viewed, but it's just personally not for me.
Yes. You don't like grand rising? Someone greeting you with grand rising?
Well, it's not, I don't even think that's a matter, but I think like black excellence is often tied to like...
Well, I'm not saying black's excellence is grand rising.
Different?
I'm just talking about y'all's usage of grand rising and black king and
I mean, that's, people, that's, sometimes people talk to you and they try to get comfortable with you.
Yes.
And that was just, it's like...
Welcome, Black King.
That's supposed to be a joke or something?
Nothing is humorous about God's chosen people.
It's like when white people say my G because they can't say nigga. It's like you clearly want to say nigga, and that's just something that I know I'm not supposed to drop them. A with an A, not an ER, as my boss said right there. But yeah, it's just something that I find humorous. It's like, oh, what's up, my G? And they give you the strong ass handshake with the fitted hat on. Like, yeah. I've had a lot of different instances in my life.
Yeah, I personally hate grand rising.
Why?
Because why are you telling me grand rising?
They like the sun and the moon and shit. They, what's my boy name? Pharaoh Monch.
He's an excellent rapper, but yeah. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want you texting me that. Sorry.
Pharaoh Monch texted you that?
No! Oh. I don't want anybody text me that. But
yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. Okay, another thing that came up a lot are conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. Do you consider yourself a conspiracy theorist, or you just like to use it as fodder for the show?
I mean, it's show fodder, but it comes from, like, paranoia to black state. Like, my mama got a bunch of stories that didn't sound real when we was kids. The police did this to us or that to us or this, or Pepperdine University used to be in South Central. You know how crazy that sound when you're a little kid until you, like, grow up and realize kind of some of those things. So I think that we have such an interesting existence as, as black people in this country, Americans in general. It's just a weird, wild thing to be. Mm-hmm. But for us specifically, a lot of the things that we go through or that we experience, people wouldn't, like, if you was telling people COINTELPRO is like listening to teenagers' phone calls to go assassinate him, no one would think that it was true. So, you know what I mean? We kind of just utilize that as a motif of, the two different realities in America. Mm-hmm.
How does anxiety show up for you?
Honestly, I don't know.
I think it shows up in I'm an introvert too. Mm-hmm. And I like to be left alone too. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's my anxious response to something, but like I was watching previous interviews and you were talking about going on tour, like you don't explore the city. Mm-hmm. We know on your last 360 you talk about you don't have people over your house.
Well, that's because Spitty was trying to cool me out. I had to catch him. Why would they know where I live at? I am not Puff Daddy. We not throwing no parties.
Maybe to come by for the holidays. The gift door.
I just told you about the holidays. We not doing none of that.
So nobody ever has been to your house before?
No. For what? What are we gonna do?
Spend some time.
I don't want to spend no time with nobody.
Cook, maybe?
You think I'm cooking for niggas? You have a good heart. That's my boy, but he tried to cool me out. He's like, what's the craziest thing you've seen on a Ring camera?
Oh,
like,
okay.
Come on, bro. Like,
okay.
What about when your homies sleep on the couch? It's like you trying to say I'm running like like the band over here. But Spitty, my boy, he tried to catch me, but I can't be caught. You know what I mean? I'm gonna come back with a joke. But I think what you said about touring is interesting because.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
When I was younger, I didn't realize that I was actually exploring the city. I think. We do like walks and get like food and stuff like that, but it's like paying attention to the outside world. I don't party or like I wasn't doing those other things that other people were doing, so I thought I didn't have the appropriate experience. But I was going through my stuff not too long ago that we had to move, and I like saw a couple of my old passports, and I have like stacked passports, like 2 or 3 of them that are like completely full, that couldn't be utilized anymore, and I've been so many places I don't remember, but I think that the experience felt like it had to be a certain thing to me. Mm-hmm. now that I'm like older, it's funny you said that because I'll just literally think about this. Now that I'm older, it's like you kind of look back and you realize how much you've actually done, and it kind of forces you to be more present. So that is definitely like a tale of the anxiety is in not knowing if you're handling the scam right. Because to me, this is like a scam. Like I got lucky, and it's like you waiting for it to be over kind of thing, which is just part of music because it happens so quick. And 15 years in, like with no hit songs, and I still have a career, and a lot of people have had a much larger impact on a much larger scale, and they're not able to do certain things that we do. It just kind of builds up this what's next and puts your head down kind of situation. So I could definitely see it developing in that way.
Okay. Are you in therapy?
Oh, no.
Why you say like, oh, no, like?
Well, because I think therapy's like, I'm not going to give myself the credit to the people that like do that kind of actual work. I just notice some stuff here and there, but now I haven't taken those steps.
Okay, why not?
I just haven't done it. You know,
Okay.
It's not my bag.
Got it.
But one day I think that would be an appropriate thing to do.
Yeah, because you talk a lot about, and you were talking about your manager, Corey, and the premises for a lot of this show was you would tell him stories and be like, that's not normal. That's not normal. So my question is, it's like, once you figure out that's not normal, then what?
It is, you know, I'm used to it. I live a very peculiar lifestyle, so I don't expect. And like I said, I've made a lot of bad decisions. Like I remember once we had a meeting with my favorite EP, Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. And Jasmine was like, I just want Vince to be a likable character. I want the audience to like Vince. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like that really wasn't important to me, but the conversation was very helpful because I kind of understood the perception of the character, and I realized that it was important for me for Vince to not be correct, to not be in the right, not kind of be the hero, because that leads to kind of the next step of understanding, just for me personally, is the mistakes and kind of the pitfalls of not being the best person all of the time. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things for me where I don't expect it to be normal because I've played a large part in a lot of the crazy shenanigans that we had going on at the time. I'm old now, but when I was a kid, he had a rough job.
I feel like your character is pretty likable on the second season. Like, I see you as the grounded brother who's like you're in the middle of your mother and your sister. You're telling your mom to breathe. I feel like you're starting to parent your mom. You're telling your mom to breathe. I feel like you're I feel like you're more likable this season than last.
But that's sympathy.
My sympathy for you think?
In the audience.
Okay.
He killed like 10 people, ran somebody over with a car.
That's true.
Stole a bunch of shit from his uncle's house.
Yeah.
Knocked over an old lady basket. Ruined the murder mystery game.
Yes.
We did a lot of terrible things that season, but the sympathy that we feel for each other because we understand the emotions of what we're going through. We just might not handle it right, so we understand dealing with loss and handling it wrong or not really balancing the relationships of the family as much, which is why we wanted that extra time to do a lot of that emotional groundwork visually, because the entire season Vince he's doing the wrong thing in every single episode at every single turn. He was rude to Milton, he was rude to Emmanuel, he hasn't done anything, he disregarded his mother's requests and statements in the second episode, making it this whole thing when it really wasn't that serious.
He parked her car illegally.
Everything that happened was based on him doing something and him not noticing kind of his pitfalls. And I think that's an important balance to have for the character, because you do want the audience to feel for Vince while understanding that he's making the wrong decisions, because it causes the audience to feel for themselves because they understand those situations, because we've all been in those situations where we're just trying to maneuver through things.
Yeah. I'm really curious about Mr. Baldwin. It felt like there was this race reversal situation where it's like what happens when white people do things versus what would happen if a black person did something. Is that right?
What do you think?
I mean, because there was little moments where, like, when you had the suburban mom and her child, she pulled up her shirt and had the gun in the leggings, and that's like, if a black person did that, it'd be a very different reaction. And then the idea that he killed somebody and it was an accident, and you were like, and they were going crazy, you're like, oh, I think an accident happened.
I think you're onto some things for sure.
Okay.
But there are a lot of layers within the show. There are definitely a lot of things. I think you probably got a lot of
What one Easter
She's
egg?
winning, right? She in the lead, huh? Yeah, you in the lead.
Okay, cool. I am not a film buff, so I couldn't pick up. I know in last season. Okay, cool. But
we on the same page.
I know last season there was like Dead Presidents and what's it called? What's the Quentin Tarantino movie?
Kill Bill.
Yes, Kill Bill.
Chips also. They got that from Chips.
Okay.
That shot. I really got it from Chips, but I do like Kill Bill a lot, which is why we did the Pulp Fiction kind of stuff. But that's kind of how the police used to come on a show called Chips.
Okay.
And that's it was like a sign of like the danger with the. That's where Quentin got it from.
Got it. But one thing I did notice, it felt like there was a reference to the Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, that's my shit.
Okay.
Yeah. That's in like everything though. That's in every episode.
Okay. What do you like about Wizard of Oz?
Good, good story structure. I think there are a lot of parallels in this season and that book specifically because a lot of those books. Yeah, just childhood. It was something we didn't have cable or anything like that growing up. So you got TV or the same few things, and that was something that we watched often. The colors, the composition is very interesting, very inspiring. There's just so much going on at once creatively in the kind of filmmaking that they were doing. Just the colors and texture and aspect ratio and the new version where they kind of change the aspect ratio, fix the film and stuff like that. You just kind of see more things that you didn't see before. But very, very well put together film. I know a lot of people don't like it, but that's my shit.
Do you like The Wiz?
I like The Wiz. Not as much as I like The Wizard of Oz, but I like The Wiz has better music, obviously.
Yeah.
But I like the colors and like the vividness and kind of some of the shots of The Wizard of Oz. The Wiz is more based on obviously the Broadway play, and that's I feel like that's the thing to see. But obviously I wasn't there, but that movie definitely, I feel like not seeing the play had a lot of very, very strong music, and I think that it makes me want to have seen the play,
I want to go back to the O.J. Simpson being named James Brown. Are you referring to Jim Brown?
I don't know. He was supposed to be named Uncle OJ, but they wouldn't let me do it. That was a note.
Oh.
And then they, so I had to get creative. But, there are a lot of references to a lot of, polarizing black figures in there. Yeah, Jim Brown has had an interesting history, so has OJ. And, the idea of celebrity and, success and what you do with it is very kind of prevalent in the show.
Okay, so what's your idea of success?
Light bill, gas bill. Pretty simple.
Would you say you're not ambitious?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think I work a lot, but I don't really want much from anything.
Okay.
But we do have minimums. I'm not just taking shit, but I say no more than I say yes. Especially as I get older, 80% of things are probably a no, just because of time and things of that nature. So I'm not as ambitious as I probably could or should be, but I think my ambition is kind of for more, stability, normality, things like that, not necessarily finances or accolades.
Once you said something about you really want to be at peace in Long Beach. Well, are you at peace?
I think so, but you don't get to pick that. It pops up every once in a while, but I think it kind of is based on what you radiate or project, and you have to try to give out more good than bad and, hope it pay off, but you never know when somebody or something will turn the clock off, so I just try to stay in those moments.
And what's going on with music? I know you're off Def Jam. You had a couple fuck Def Jams in the first episode from Slime Baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Slime Baby's handler or whatever.
Handler's funny.
How are you thinking about music? I know it's something that it seems like it's something you'll always do and make. But
yeah, music. We have music. It's just I couldn't put out music for how long, Corey? A year, contractually.
After you left Def Jam?
Yeah, contractually.
Okay.
There's little clauses that they have in their things, but we've been, which is fine. But we've kind of just been sitting on some stuff, and after we kind of get done with this, we'll get back to the music stuff. Music is always going to be something that's done. It kind of gives the frame of reference for everything else, so we just never want to put music to the back burner and act like it doesn't matter. It isn't what got us here, and it's an easy way to connect with people, I guess, holistically. It's a live show of it, aspect of it. It's just a lot that you can do with it, so it's always going to be something that we're going to pay a lot of time and attention to.
It makes sense that you're independent as much as you talk about the industry, but was the option of you signing to another label even an option for you?
No, we didn't talk about it, to be honest. Of course it probably was, but I don't think it works with my messaging or the kind of music I want to create. A business is a business, and I understand that they have their structure, and their structure for optimization. And that's not necessarily what I do. I make smaller ideas, socially or just culturally. So it just made the most sense to kind of partner up with smaller, more independent companies and just focus on what we wanted to create. And because there's something different for everybody, but that's just not for me.
You've now gotten a taste of what it's like to which is a big deal, to produce and write and act in a series on Netflix. What else do you want to explore in the realms of storytelling?
Honestly, anything. Like, I never once said I wanted a TV show or I wanted to make music. I think it just happened how it happened based on life's experiences. We're extremely open to everything in that same regard because we wouldn't have got here without that kind of openness, so to say. Not to say that we're just saying yes to everything, but it's kind of more so waiting for something to pop up that is intriguing creatively and making the most out of opportunities for ourselves and other people.
But you're not chasing anything right now?
No, there's no reason to.
Okay. You're funny. Well, there was a time when y'all were being very strategic about positioning you as an actor, as a creator. Like, you had your online YouTube series, you were doing voiceovers.
Well, that's just listening to the audience.
Okay.
The show idea came from, to be honest, music video stuff, and people like, these music video ideas are cool and creative. You should try to get into television. You just see it enough, and we were like, it was a why not moment.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple meetings. They didn't necessarily pan out, and then we decided to just do it on our own, kind of leveraging the music. And even from a writing standpoint, I wasn't gonna write anything on the show. Calmatic, the director and the guy that kind of created the show with me at the beginning from the YouTube groundwork, he was like, look, if you don't write these scripts, it's not gonna happen. So download Final Draft, it's $300, buy it and start writing, and that's how it happened. So just kind of being open to the people around you and your audience and receiving what they're telling you is kind of how we got here. So the people that work with us, you know, I work hard. I do everything pretty much myself. And I think that they work just as hard on making sure that it's not, because I'll just make an album and give it to, that's not my thing, you know what I mean? I think it's very important to them that I get the credit for certain things, and I appreciate that, because that's just not where my head is. So long story short, that's Corey being like, don't put this shit on this bio, because they're going to look at him as if he's not the one doing it. Everyone has said, you know, we want these interviews. It's not... We want everyone to know how much you do. Yes. So I gotta thank them for that. That's not me. They do a great job at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, that is important though.
You know, we got a good team of people that's down, and I know I make their life a living hell most of the time. So.
Yeah. Now we're seeing obviously more Black artists have control over what they create. You know, whether it's Donald Glover or whatever, Issa Rae. Do you have any favorite rappers turned actors?
Well, I mean, the first thing I would say that we've always had control. If you're talking about from a film standpoint, so sometimes we ignore it, but it's like you got Melvin Van Peebles, Mario Van Peebles, you got Robert Towns. I think the younger people don't really know them, but
I'm talking about artists, rappers.
Rappers have control too. You pick what you want to do, man. It's not real. Niggas say it's a scapegoat for not reaching the levels of success that certain people wanted to reach, but they gave you the crack pipe, they gave you the lighter, the white lighter, they gave you the rock. You took the rock out the bag, you put the rock in the crack pipe. You shook up the white lighter because it was empty, and then you hit the crack, and you want to say the label played me. Nobody told you to smoke the crack, and niggas got to stop acting like they not smoking. You got to stop acting like, I'm doing too much? I'm doing too much? Okay, I seen your hand. I thought I was doing something. You gotta stop acting like you ain't smoked that crack by yourself. Like, be a man. I'm sick of these niggas. But with that being said, Will Smith, Queen Latifah, and that boy Marky Mark.
Yes.
You can't take it from them.
Now, why did you say Marky Mark?
That boy Marky Mark, a rapper.
I know that, but you think he's... Oh, well, I guess he is a good actor.
He cold.
He is a good actor.
They don't even know he rapped no more. They forgot he was from the streets.
Were you a fan of Living Single?
Everybody love Living. I love Queen Latifah.
I know you love Set It Off.
I love Queen Latifah. You know what I mean? She the best. Corey introduced me to Queen Latifah twice. Yeah. She had on all red sweatsuit with the fitted hat, and she had the keys in her hand. And I don't know what key it was, but it was big. Like,
what year was this?
2016. 15. It's Queen Latifah. I met LL Cool J. I met the whole De La Soul. I met Ghostface Killer, the RZA, the Jizza, You Got Inspector Deck, and the METHOD man. I met a lot of people in this hip hop space, but definitely Queen Latifah, Marky Mark, and Will. You can't take that from them.
Okay. And what are you watching on TV? Do you watch a lot of TV?
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I kind of watch shows. I was watching Gordon Ramsay's. I forgot what it's called, but he got a show where they got the hidden cameras, and then
In the restaurants?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they pretend it's a show called Restaurant Refresh, and then he got a snitch in the kitchen who telling them what they doing wrong, and then he pop up and he like, y'all cleaning the kitchen, and he's like, yeah, and he like, no, you not. They told us, and then Gordon go on and change their whole. I really rock with Gordon. He changed their whole get down. I've been watching Only Murders in the Building lately. I love a good happy kind of thing.
You do?
Yeah, it's my thing.
Okay.
I don't make it, but I watch it. Like, I for sure watch it. I was watching. I just finished Peacemaker. I never watched that before, but the kids was into it, so I had to tap into what the youth liked. And yeah, I that's kind of the last couple things I watched. But I try to watch anything that people put me on.
One thing I didn't ask that I wanted to ask, it does feel like there's more turn to horror or like thriller in this season.
Well, yeah, I did a subgenre for every episode. Like, one is this, one is that. But I wanted to make like an overall darker show. To be real, the first season, I'm meeting in the middle and trying like their format for not their format, but the format that was kind of suggested by a lot of the people working on the show. I think gave them a little bit of faith in me because the episodes that they didn't necessarily know about. Not that the other episodes didn't do well, but the episodes they didn't know about, they were like, I don't know if this is too much, were the ones that people gravitated towards the most.
Which were which? You said the bank one.
Robbery, and I think, what am I saying? The bank robbery and...
Did the family reunion? That was my favorite.
That one did well, but everyone liked that one. I think it was the bank robbery and was it 5? The darker episode that they didn't know how they would do, and since they did, relatively well, it was a little bit more of a freedom to be
Trust.
like exactly. So I just went way too far with it, and just kind of made what I would have wanted to make. Kind of the first go around, and with the knowledge of the notes that they gave me and the improvements that they gave me on the show, and kind of found a unique tone.
Well, I really enjoyed the second season. I feel like it just makes you stop and think and try to catch things and understand the message. I didn't want this interview to turn into, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Even though that's my natural inclination.
No, it's all
But
good.
thank you for creating something that kind of just makes us think about things that we're faced with every day and text and grand rising text and stuff like that. Thank you for, taking the time out to make something that's so thoughtful, intentional. And I just also love the dynamic between you and Vanessa Bell Calloway and what's her name, Natay.
Yeah,
It just
Jones.
felt very authentic, and it was also very relatable to, a dynamic. I mean, I can't relate to it, but I could understand. I got it. So thank you for making something that is smart, thoughtful, got me off my phone, and is intentional and layered.
Thank you. I appreciate that compliment.
Thank you.